The pinaka-earth-shaking filings today are, of course, that the president, whom we had expected to file a certificate of candidacy for for a vice presidential run, has stepped aside, and it is Senator Bongo who filed his certificate of candidacy to run as vice president of the Republic 2022. The expectation also is that this now leaves a vacant national position. In other words, we recall that Mayor SARA has indicated that no two Dutertes will run for national position. With the president's withdrawal from national position and his announcement that he is going to retire for about 30 minutes, we all thought that this now paves the way for Mayor SARA to run as president. Can she still file? Because she has filed a certificate of candidacy now to run for mayor. Okay. Well, here are the scenarios. Ang daming di makahinga, di ba? All right. First, thank you to Nagimashka. All right. Let me know if the audio nga pala is okay. Sabi ni Nico Katakis, alam ko na daw ang mangyayari. No, I really don't, seriously. But I can give you only the scenarios that we can see right now. All right, so the certificate of candidacy has been filed by Senator Bongo. Senator Bongo is midterm into his term as senator. In other words, 3 years pa lang siya. Regardless of what happens, whether he wins as vice president or not, he can go back. If he doesn't win, he can go back to being a senator. If he wins, then he becomes vice president of the republic. That's part one. Part two, the president retires. Who now among the Duterte is going to run for national position? Mayor Inday is going back allegedly as mayor. But since it is only October 2, then the deadline for filing certificates of candidacy is October 8. I don't think any of us can breathe until then, because any person who has filed a certificate of candidacy can also withdraw that certificate of candidacy at any time prior to elections. So, for example, whoever files a certificate of candidacy for COC for the presidency can withdraw it later on, even after November 15, even on the day of elections itself. Okay, so can Mayor SARA withdraw her certificate of candidacy for mayor and file instead a different one? I'm not saying for the presidency or vice presidency, but can she file a different one for a different position? Yes, provided she can also include the requirements of that different position. Kasi syempre, iba yung requirements ng mayor. Although, general rule, andyan pa rin yun. The age requirement, proof of the age requirement, which means the birth certificate, proof of residency, ano pa ba? Able to read and write, and so on. And that he or she is a registered voter. So, yes, in theory, Mayor Inday can still withdraw her certificate of candidacy for mayor and file for something else later on, as long as she meets the deadline and the requirements by October 8th. Right? What we have not seen is former Senator Bongbong Marcos filing anything. And what he has said is that he wants to take as much time, all the time that he has, to think about what position he's going to run. Okay, Ma'am Ilikara Araceli Moser, thank you very much for your super chat. Thank you also kay Nagimashka, and there's one other person. Oops. Sino po yung isang nagbigay sa super chat? Napasalamatan ko na ba kayo? Okay, pakisabi na lang kung if I missed anybody in our super chat. So, what really I'm saying here right now is that anything can happen. Are we going to hazard a guess as to what is actually going to happen? Well, that's what everybody is doing. I don't really want to do that. What I think is that the Dutertes are really very good at mind games. If they're playing one right now, they're playing it really well. We did not see the president, as far as we know, the president was hell bent on running for their vice presidency. Kasi legal naman yon. And for me, yung ginamit niyang dahilan na was that because of the perception of unconstitutionality, I withdraw my, I will step aside for Senator Bongo to file his certificate of candidacy as Vice President. Pero wala naman pong pang nagfa-file na COC for the presidency ng PDP laban. So that's another thing. Now, also at an interview after the filing, apparently the president said something about Mayor Inday and Senator Bongo running as a tandem. He's the only one who is saying that right now. We have no word from Mayor Inday, who is actually the ultimate source of whether or not she's going to run. So right now, it's still anybody's game. Okay? Para dun sa mga nagtatanong kung nasa ng super chat, that is on YouTube. You just have to go to the dialogue box and you click the monetary symbol, like the dollar sign, or depending on where you are. Thank you kay Ma'am Annie sa super chat. Thank you din kay Sir Nathaniel Quintos and Rene Braga Baico. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. So, kasi earlier on, people kept asking me, pwede pa ba si Mayor Inday if she files, can she file? Yeah, she can file. She can withdraw her certificate of candidacy as mayor and then file for the presidency or the vice presidency or senator or any other position that she wants. Diba? It's too early to talk about substitutions kasi hindi pa tapos ang filing of COCs. Meaning, you can only substitute somebody who is a candidate. So when you file the substitution, kailangan tapos na yung filing. Otherwise, it's simply a withdrawal. It's not the person who filed the certificate withdraws and then somebody else files a COC. Okay? So it's not technically a substitution. Bobby Belmonte asks, bawal po bang tumakbo si PRRD as Vice President? No po. The Constitution is clear. There is no bar to the President running for Vice President. What the President said as an excuse to not run for Vice President is simply that people perceive it to be unconstitutional. Of course, that's not true. Constitutionality or unconstitutionality is not a matter of perception. It is what the Supreme Court says it is. But because that is the mandate of the Supreme Court to determine what laws are adhere to the Constitution. Thank you din po kay Philip Eugenio sa nagbigay ng pangkape and Cruce de la Torre. Sabi ni Ma'am Cruce, BBM Duterte SARA. Nice, di ba? I hope that this isn't all in our dreams. Thank you kay Deo Versola. And yeah, marami tayong sabi nga ni Jack Stone, it's a nail biter. That's true. Ako kasi I'm preparing myself for the fact that this is what it already is. So Senator Bongo runs for Vice President and hopefully BBM runs for President. And then let's see what's going on. But if you're feeling, the suspense, can you imagine what they're feeling dun sa other side, di ba? Ito, sabi ni Mang Tomas, thank you for your wholehearted service, PRRD. My family loved and support you until the end. Well, love sana, wag past tense. Di ba? Buhay pa naman siya. BBM SARA, sabi ng iba. Well, I think that that's the team to beat. But it really depends, di ba, on who the candidates are going to be in the final run. Ito, sabi ni Rai, Sara Duterte lang qualified maging president. Well, you have to distinguish qualified under the Constitution and qualified in the sense that they're the best candidate. Yan. Based sa experience, bukod dyan, simpleng tao din siya at makamasa. Ayoko kay BBM, wala akong tiwala sa kanya. Oy, Bakit naman? Bukod sa laki mayaman siya, wala ding karisma sa tao. No to Marcos anymore. Well, ako I disagree. Ito, I'm all for BBM-Go tandem, sabi ni Cheryl Didache. Alvin asks, says, BBM Sara or Sara BBM, kahit sino, pwede mas okay sa akin ng BBM Sara. Natanong ni Cyril, upon filing of COC po ba dapat nakasaad na kung sino ang iyong substitute? Should you choose to withdraw? No. You can't choose a substitute. Is it true that if President Duterte runs for the VP position, then he will be immune with his human rights cases? No, the Vice President is not immune from suit. So whoever says that, whoever is speculating about that is incorrect. Ito. Sabi ni Aris, paano na yung sinabi ni Mayor Sara na isang Duterte lang tatakbo? Paano yan? Nag-file na rin ng re-election for mayorship. Like I said, Mayor Sara, if she wants to, can withdraw her certificate of candidacy for mayorship and file one for the presidency, provided she meets the deadline and the requirements. So, yung sinasabi ni Mayor Sara is not that a Duterte is going to run. What she's saying is that only one Duterte can run for the national position. She didn't say that only one Duterte shall run for the national position. You realize that Sara is also very, very careful about what she says. Mayor Sara is also very careful about what she says. So, thank you kay Ma'am Sara Mercado. And, sino pa yung isa? I missed the other one na nag-super chat din. I think most of us nag-live lang tayo dito so that we can air out the fact that our choice for the tandem that's going to run we all want BBM and Sara, Mayor Sara, but we don't know if that's going to happen. I'm afraid to hope. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I am afraid to hope. Because we know that Mayor Sara is pretty straightforward. If she says she's not running, she's not running. Ganun lang yan. Unless something else happens. Holy cow. But what I said still holds. What I'm saying is that, the mind games they're playing, if this is still a mind game, they're playing it very, very well. Okay. What happens if the Davao mayor doesn't file her certificate of candidacy for a national position? Then I suppose we should expect BBM will file his certificate of candidacy for president. So in either way, diba, we will have to work very, very hard to make sure that BBM wins. It's different when it's Sara. There's something like a built-in protection since her father is an incumbent. Iba talaga yung pagka you're occupying, you have somebody having your back who is an incumbent. BBM will need all the help he can get. So, hihikayatin ko na lahat right now. If BBM files his certificate of candidacy, I think that we should all come together and support him. Otherwise, baka sino pa yung makalusot. Sabi ni Yehoshua man, sana cabinet member ka, manalo si BBM Duterte. President, Secretary ka, Duterte. Secretary ka po, spokesperson to the President. I have no such illusions, sir. Masaya naman tayo dito. Di ba? What I think I got a little shaken was the president's announcement that he's retiring from politics at the end of his term. I was still hoping that he would be at least mayor of Davao if Mayor Sara was going to run for a national position. However, I understand that given his age and some health problems, then that come with age, then yes, he's entitled to a good vacation afterwards or a good retirement. Ano po difference ng regional political party sa national party? Inday Sara's party is just regional. I don't think we have to worry about that one since many parties have endorsed her candidacy and she can run as a guest candidate to, let's say, I understand Nationalista endorsed her, Lakas and Lakas, tama ba yan? Lakas NUCD also endorsed her, and so on. So there are about 5 parties that endorsed her. So that is the least of our worries. That's assuming that she wants to run for president. Diba? Sabi ni Prisco Nilo, I've talked to one of the guys of Run Sara Run having a meeting at a restaurant across CCP complex. He's a barangay captain from Davao. He said Inday Sara is already here in NCR. I asked him if Inday Sara is running for president. He replied, I hope so. So do I. I hope so too. There are some people who are very confident that it will be, Madam Inday is going to file her certificate of candidacy. Right now, I don't think there is anything sure. So Crazy says, bakit kaya madaming galit kay BBM for the martial law? Dapat kay Ramos po kayo magalit sa abuses. Martial law is declared para mapigilan ng teroristang NPA na founded ni Ninoy at Joma at ni Norman Suari. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what you call visiting the sins of the father on the son. It wasn't BBM who declared martial law. It was his father. Knowing the personality of Ma'am Sara, sabi ni the possibility of her withdrawing from the mayoralty candidate and running for a national position is very rare. Well, many will say that 1% will happen, but 1% is not 0%. Maybe. I'd like to think that she's running. But I'm also prepared for the eventual. I have been prepared for a long time for in case that she doesn't. But we love her anyway. She's the mayor of Davao City, after all. Francis Miranda says, sada nga either way, BBM SZD or SZD BBM, suportahan natin. Huwag sana mahati o di suportahan kung di yung gusto ninyong posisyon ang mangyari. Yeah, I agree. I saw a video posted at Ma'am MJ Kiambau's wall, an ambush interview. PRRD said it will be SARA-Go. Yes, but the president also admitted that he has not spoken to his daughter. So I don't know what the value of what he says will be, diba, or is right now. I think that we really have to wait until after October 8th to see who is going to be running. The president might think that maybe Sara wants to run, but on the other hand, maybe she doesn't. We don't know. Michael Bunayog says, I hope this won't be another 2016 effery. Where hati yung mga boto. If BBM Sara is going to happen, yun lang sana yung pair na nasa isip or even option ng pro-admin. Dati kasi nahati yung boto for VP because Duterte chose Cayetano as his tandem while a lot of people also voted for BBM when they supported Duterte. Yeah, but I don't think we can really dictate on the candidates themselves, di ba? We can ask the supporters to support a particular tandem regardless of the party's tandems. I think that would be more appropriate. Pero hindi diktahan natin sila. I don't think they're going to take that very well. Di ba? Sabi ni Shirley Imbian, to all aspirants, the most qualified next leader is BBM Sara or Sara BBM, period. Yes, that's why everybody is so nervous. All sides are nervous. The other side is nervous because they think that until November 15 comes and goes, then we can't really breathe. They're worried about Sara running for president. Tayo, we're worried that she might not. So everybody's worried right now. Equally, for once again, the country is united in our nervousness. Sabi ni Super Del, ako sa October 7, yun ang numero ng father niya at yun ang nasasaad sa filosofiya ni Nostradamus. Charot. Okay. Regine says, I'm not in BBM. If BBM the heat, baka tirahin niya ng mga oligarko. Then it will depend on how he handles it, diba? And the kind of people that he will surround himself with. Now, I want the next president to protect Duterte, to protect his, his rear end, kumbaga, uh, from things like the ICC and other possible cases. And when I say protect, hindi yung hindi lang siya i-railroad. Diba? If cases are going to be filed, fine. Cases are going to be filed. Pero wag naman sanang kargahan. Ari says, ano kaya ang pakiramdam ng mga dilawan, oposisyon, makakaliwang grupo? Tingin ko nervous din. Mukhang kulang brains ang kabila sa political strategy. It's a mind game after all, sabi ni Alan. Yes, right now, actually, the opposition is depending also on whether or not SARA is going to file her certificate of candidacy. The numbers have been consistent. She and BBM have been, blazing a trail in all of the surveys, regardless of whether you believe the surveys or not, the fair ones anyway. In all of them, they have been very, very consistent. So, ang worry ng kabila is that they file. Ang worry natin is that they might not. BBM has always been open that he's running. Okay, let's get that clear. He is running, and he consistently says he does not know yet what position. He also consistently says he is going to take all the time that is available to him to think about what position he runs. Now, I understand that there's a rumor, a persistent rumor going around that if SARA files her certificate of candidacy for the presidency, then BBM does not intend to do the same. In other words, hindi niya babanggain. On the contrary, he will file for another position. Now, if SARA had filed and Duterte had filed his own for vice presidency, I understand that BBM would not have filed for either position. But now, the field is clear. So, siya yung iniintay natin ngayon. He will set the tone. Diba? Again, we have until October 8th to see what's going to go on. Or November 15. Don't reveal muna para magugulat na lang ang oposisyon. How can I reveal? I don't know anything. Diba? As far as I can tell, it is what it is. It's exactly what it is. In other words, what we don't know na lang is what BBM is filing for. But we're all hoping that he files for the presidency, assuming that he knows that I did not vote for PRRD, but he got the mandate of the people, so I give my entire support to him, even losing friends defending him. It's part of my respect to moral function of suffrage, which is supposed to be uniting the people. So crazy sa support natin lahat ng mga candidates na magsusulong at magtutuloy ng projects ng PRRD. Huwag iboto mga nakadikit sa oligarchs kagaya ni Tulfo na gustong ibalik ang ABS-CBN. Kahit na madaming violations. Ako grade 3, ako sa history namin, sabi ng teacher ko, siniraan daw si P. Marcos ng mga dilawan kaya napatalsik. Yeah. BBM will surely run for president. Nag-vice na siya last time at nadaya lang. Best rest back is run president and win this time. Inday Sara can or will substitute Bongo for vice, BBM Sara for the win. Mga ka-BBM at TDS supporters, mag-kaisa tayo, kailangan united tayo para hindi makalusot ang mga dilawan. Tandaan ninyo, 30 years nilang binabalasupas ang bansa natin. Totoo yan. Do not give in dun sa personal na galit natin. Diba? That's not good for the country. Let's vote for the one person who will really and truly continue what Duterte has done for us, and that is to throw out the old narratives, yung pagkukunwari, yung mga kala mo ang babait, di makabasag pinggan, kala mo ang super charitable, kala mo may malasakit sa mga hirap, yung pala pagkukunwari lang. Once they're put into position, kaliwat kanan yung pagnanakaw, while at the same time, calling themselves saints. Crap. Yoko na ng ganon. A lot of them are still in the Senate. May mga sa katulad nila na tumatakbo para sa Senado. Huwag po natin silang iboto. I mean, even if tingin natin mandadaya yung mga yan, let's still vote for the people who should be in office. Kaya ano ako naiinis ako, sorry to say, dun sa mga taong nagsasabi, paano yan, dadayain lang. Ano yun, sinuko na natin? Yung mga tipong, ito, parang binigay na lang natin, sige, di ba, huwag na tayong bumoto kasi Smartmatic naman mamimili. Laban tayo. We have to fight it. Na ipanalo natin si Duterte in spite of Smartmatic. Do not forget that. Ever. Mga nagsasabi, paano yan, dadayain lang ng Smartmatic. Unang-una, di ba, we don't know that. Okay. Pangalawa, may Smartmatic when the president won. If you forget that, then you're weakening the entire reason why we were able to get a Duterte. You're forgetting that we stood together and in millions voted for him. Diba? So you have to stop giving in to Smartmatic. Yes, Smartmatic is a threat. But it can be defeated. Diba? The way we defeated it in 2016. Cheating can only do so much. After that, hindi na. They will risk too much. Sabi ni Noor, you're one of the few who has that strong conviction of supporting the president until his last day in office. We truly admire that. Agree that we should be united. Uy, thank you kay Ruel Costello. Okay. Yeah, ganito yun eh. One thing that is really wrong with us is that kumakapit lang dun sa mga perceived natin na we're powerful. So kapit kay Presidente during elections, when he won, at the height of his power as a president. But now, we're counting months when he steps down. I think this is the time that he needs the most support. It's the least we can do for the man who has given us so much. Diba? Tayo nga, kami mga hampas lupa na vlogger lang. Diba? Ako, ilalang ko talaga sarili ko. We get hit at by insults day in, day out. The president goes through that too. He didn't have to. No? And as a president, he's really powerful. He could have decided somewhere along the way and said, I want to stay in power forever. Diba? He could have said that and done something about it and said, I'm going to be dictator for life. He could have done that. He didn't. He's going to go out, he's going to retire quietly, go home to Davao. That's exactly what the president should do. And he's going to do that. I mean, there's some people who, once having become president, they can't let go of the power. So they keep coming back. Whether that's good or not, I don't really care. But this is how it's done. I think that we should appreciate that. And I think that we should support him until the very last day. Until he goes out. Because this is the age of Duterte. We do not know if it's going to come back, if it's going to continue. Because we're going to look back on these days as the days when we said no to the people who held power in this country, whose families held power since the Malolos Congress. Guys, let's all just say DDS, Loyalist, United. Agree. May pera talaga na vloggers. May pera talaga na vloggers ay and may nakita ka bang vlogger na mayaman na totoong DDS loyalist? Anti-Parex supports duopoly cover-up for concessionaires water treatment issue. Yan. Ito, sadly ayaw ni SARA sumapi sa PDP laban. Hindi naman niya kailangan sumapi sa PDP laban. Required for substitution, kapwa mo kaalyado. Bakit? Hindi naman siya, PDP laban na, matagal na siyang umalis. So, if yun ang magiging basis ninyo for feeling down, I disagree. Maraming pwedeng mag-adapt sa kanya. Baka strategy rin ng Dilawan na hinahayaan nilang tumakbo si Pacquiao at yung iba pa na medyo may hatak na tao, Gordon, may hatak din yan kay Lacson kasi mahahati ang boto ng tao. Yeah, but what good does it do for them? Does well for us. Thank you kay Ma'am Janet. Thank you daw for the insights. If they wanted to bring back the Katol network, o sige, pilitin nila na bayaran ng mga Lopez sa mga unpaid taxes at loans. Napakasimple naman ang gagawin, kaso nagmamatigas lang ang Katol. Ngayon lang, anong saysay ng DDS kung wala na si Duterte sa politics at wala nang Duterte sa national politics? Duterte sa national politics. Then we become citizens of the country, Filipino citizens, voting against the oligarchic control. Diba? They're going to want to come back, guys. They're not going to take this lightly. If in the 6 years that Duterte was president, very few of them gained the foothold, they're going to come back, and they're going to come back angry. Meaning they're going to get it from us. What they lost in the past 6 years, they're going to get it back from us. Tofi says, it's not like I don't like BBM. Personally, what I worry about BBM presidency, that may be a divisive president. That allows communists and oligarchs will vehemently oppose him more than they opposed PRRD now. Baka maging balakid lang yun sa pamamahala ni BBM if ever he becomes president. But I guess in the end, I will support who PRRD gives his blessing to, regardless of who it is, because I will vote for continuity and progress, especially sa Build. At isa lang dapat bantayan. Diba? If BBM won. I don't know. If Rafi wins the senatorial position, do you think he has the power to bring back ABS? If he did that, sure, DDS will get angry at him. He's just one guy, guys. And he's running for Senate. The bill on franchises emanates from the House. What we have to look at is the composition of the House. Cheryl says, ngayon pa lang po nalulungkot na ako at namimiss na si Presidente. Saan kaya tayo pupunta pag hindi na siya ang Presidente? Let us unite as one para sa bayan. Ganito guys, there will never be another Rodrigo Duterte. But, you know, Mayor Inday is very young. Even if she doesn't run for president now, she can do so after 6 years. So, don't lose hope. Diba? In an interview, BBM pledges to continue the good things Duterte started. If SARA decides not to run for national position, then BBM must win for continuity. Let's see. Yeah. I really want to see what the final outcome. I can't wait for October 8th. Diba? And then after that, I can't wait for November 15. Alright, can we talk about Parex now or hindi pa rin tayo makaget over? Or do you want to talk about Parex tomorrow? Maybe we should talk about it tomorrow. Di pa rin kayo makaget over. Aran says, Manong Johnny confirms, Manong Eric Enrile, sorry, confirms to this show that sa SMNI that SARA BBM daw. Like I said, let's wait for October 8th. But in the meantime, just so if you believe that Sarah's going to run, then you should post run Sarah run. If you think that she's not going to run but you want her to run, then you should post run Sarah run. Diba? And para dun sa mga pro BBM, just because we post run Sarah run doesn't mean that we don't like BBM, nor are we not going to support him. But I think that the tandem of BBM whether as president or vice president, will be excellent paired with a Sara Duterte. Diba? Kapapasok ng balita sa PTV News, Sara naghain ng COC sa Davao City para sa re-electionist. Ma'am, kanina pa po yun. Sir, kanina pa po yun. Alam na po namin yun. Kanina pa po dinidiscuss dito. Antonio SC30 says, regarding Parex, I hope you can check the things that Pag-asa PH posts on Instagram. Puro paninira kay PRRD and Parex with matching infographics pa. Okay, let's take that. Here. That's one of them. So, pahapyawan na muna natin yung Parex for now. But tomorrow we'll discuss it more in depth. But before that, let's take this. I'm just curious about political dynasty because if Mary Sara would run as president, pretty sure that the opposition will use it against her. There's no law on political dynasties. It's in the Constitution, but it requires an enacting legislation. The failure of the Senate and Congress in the last 30 years to put in a law on that, well, para dun sa mga umaangal na dynasty yan, Singilin ninyo. Sa tinagal-tagal, di kayo gumawa ng batas. Sa tinagal-tagal, yung mga kaalyado ninyo, naging presidente pa nga si Noynoy, hindi pa rin niya ginawa yung anti-dynasty law. Hindi pa niya hinikayat ang Kongreso at ang Senado na gumawa ng anti-dynasty law. Tapos ngayon kayo maniningil sa amin. Excuse me lang.